Hey guys, welcome to Nico Play. This is another episode of Love, Money and Rock and Roll, and hopefully we're gonna soon we're gonna finish it. So suddenly the unnaturally loud sound of a car horn came from the street. Probably it's KGB or FBI. Or finally the principal came to my house and say, "What the fuck? Why are you missing school all the time, Nico?" Okay. She jumped. Himitsu. It must be late by now. I quickly blurted out, afraid of what could happen between us next. Like that? Yes, Himitsu said, upset. Till tomorrow then? Till tomorrow? I didn't even have to clarify what would happen tomorrow. She would come and wake me up. Like every other day. ... I thought I wouldn't be able to fall asleep quickly, was sure that the dark thoughts wouldn't retreat easily. But the slumber I desired came almost immediately. Loading. Damn. Last time I didn't play like 40 seconds left till the next morning. Damn. By the way, it's September 16th if you're tracking the time in this game. I don't know why you need to track the time in this game, but it's December 16th. Not in my life, but in their life, yeah. Sometimes a dream is just a dream. Are we playing Clonao right now? In this case, however, it was a diseased retrospective on recent events. I was chasing Catherine while she was running away, yet constantly turning around, smiling, waving at me and shouting something. Her words were carried away by the wind, and only her eyes shone, her lips moved in silent labor. Voice. Nico-kun! I started to hear behind me. Nico-kun! The voice was becoming even clearer. Himitsu was chasing me. She didn't look angry, but rather sad and weary. Where was I running to? After or from who? In a dream you move slowly. In a dream you move easily, effortlessly, as if floating, immediately gaining unprecedented speed without getting strained or tired. Why you use that word? As if standing on an escalator as it rushes ahead. It takes you up and brings you down depending on the point of view. ... Splendid. The master of word, like just... I don't know, he's so cool. The author, I mean. I opened my eyes and immediately realized it was early in the morning. This happens sometimes. You don't need to glance at the clock or look outside. Your own body gives a signal that it has yet to fully recover. The heavy head, the puffy eyes, the dry horrors, I knew the symptoms all too well. Except, I hadn't been drinking yesterday. Oh my god, we hadn't been drinking, damn! Life is wasted. I got the feeling that sleeping the rest of the time I had left wasn't the best idea. Okay, guys, just decided to share a little bit with you. I'm not sure if you see it or not. Those who will realize what is that in the comments, I will give a huge thumbs up. It's one of the most nastiest things, but one of the most beautiful and useful things for your body. Just put down in comments and see what is gonna be happening. Wow. Yeah, I'm feeling good right now, better than before. So the best idea, the feelings. Okay. The Catherine from the dream seemed to have stopped, and I finally managed to hear what was she shouting. We shouldn't have met at all. Have met at all. Have met. Oh my god. I rolled to the other side. The KGB, the Japanese, the project, Kobayashi Corporation, even my parents' death. If all that happened, Catherine wouldn't still remain in my life. Moreover, she wouldn't remain even had she not returned to Japan. If not in my life, then in my heart. If not in my heart, then in the neurons of my brain and internal glands. The mechanisms of romantic love might be of interest to an outside observer and scientist looking at the problem as a matter of human psychology. But a man sick with smallpox would be more interested in how he had managed to catch it so late in the 20th century, that is, pathomechanisms. I'm sorry guys, after this drink I'm a little bit... Ooh, wow. I hope I'll be fine. It's not alcohol, by the way. If you're already running into the comments and typing what I'm drinking, no, it's not alcohol. ... A cup of hot tea woke me up. I seem to recall that this pack hadn't been here before. Could Himitsu have brought it? Himitsu... She was about to come to wake me up, but she never came. How surprised she'd be to see. Except I didn't want her to see me at all. Not today, not right now. Perhaps yesterday had gone a bit better than I could have expected. Perhaps I had reason to hope that my life would get better, at least in some respects. But now I'd woken up, and it started all over again. She can't see me like this. I was absolutely positive she would realize everything right away. I felt naked, with my feelings exposed, defenseless before the outside world. Wait, I think defenseless misspelled. Okay, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm tripping. And so I ran. I left the house and simply walked wherever my feet would take me. What about the school, bro? Go fucking school! My pace wasn't particularly fast, but not slow either. I watched the road and the traffic lights, even avoided running into people. But it was all done on autopilot. My mind was elsewhere. Maybe the dream where I was chasing Catherine. Chasing with full understanding that I would never catch her. Life can be a strange thing. Katya lived just a couple kilometers away from here. I could just go and ring her doorbell. Even if it was still too early and she was asleep, I could scale the fire escape and climb into her window like a Spider-Man, like a fucking Mary Jane and fucking Peter Parker, I don't know. And then I could tell her everything I wanted to say with beautiful words, elegant phrases, genuinely and passionately. And she would listen to me and understand and forgive me. What the hell? Why should I feel guilty about her? I whispered quietly, or so I thought. You'll be fine before the wedding, came a sneaked comment from some old lady as she deftly slipped under my arm. I stumbled away, startled, and picked up my pace. ... Some old lady heard his talking. Not waiting. Exactly, you fucking underage moron. Oh my god. Soon I found myself in the park. It had been a while since last came here. Nice area, by the way. I used to go here with Katya. She used to say this was the only place in the city where we could be alone. Or maybe she didn't, and I just assumed that's this she thought. Catherine never liked to publicly show her feelings, and sometimes it even seemed like she was embarrassed and that someone would see us together. The park itself was more or less a classical Japanese garden. I also thought that in a way, nature was the same everywhere. Sure, Earth had different climates. Some trees would grow on the continent but completely refused to take root on another. But in general, it was the same vegetation, the same soil, the same murmuring streams. Maybe that was because we rarely perceive nature as something discrete. We may often think about the age of a particular tree, but no one counts the blades of grass in a meadow or the grains of sand at the beach. Neither is a plucked flower perceived by us as the end of the separate biological entity. It's just a process. It will wither, rot, and turn into something new. I walked into our favorite gazebo and sat down on a bench. Rare yellowish leaves floated back and forth on the small lake. Here, in the forest, you could say the arrival of autumn wasn't as apparent, even though the temperature was a couple of degrees lower than in the city. I probably still wasn't used to summer, like warmth in the middle of September. That was the weather then, I wondered. It had been 2 years. 2 years, is that a lot of plants? What about century-old oaks? What about me? What about you? You're not a fucking oak. You dumb like a tree for sure, but you're not... You're nobody. I sank into my memories. Who's that? My first summer in high school had ended. To be honest, I no longer remember what I felt, though strife were at the time. Only that I was simply more naive. Finally, he came to school. Jesus Christ, thank you. It was a normal school day. Fundamentally, our high school differed from its middle counterpart only in name and was located on the same grounds. I knew many of the students. We had been in the same class before. What does that mean? Many Japanese schools change students between classes each year, which is meant to promote interpersonal skills and collectivism. Sounds very Soviet, actually. Besides, my good chubby friend Kuyusoki was sitting next to me. Don't you think it's weird we've ended up in the same class however many times now?
Are you implying that it's not a coincidence?
He made one of those grins that practically screamed, "Come on, ask me what I mean." I'm just stating a fact. Because if I thought you arranged it somehow, I'd start to feel weird. Scared even.
Why me exactly?
Who else could it be? He fuffily mumbled something in response. I think we've got a nice class here. I looked around the classroom, but my eyes didn't linger on anyone in particular. Probably because I didn't have any particular ties to any of them.
What do you think about...
He moved closer to me and whispered, "The girls." Well, I don't really know, because I like boys. I'd lie if I said I didn't think about it. Any normal guy my age does. My thoughts were where it ended. It was hard for me to even imagine myself next to someone other than Himitsu, even though I didn't think about her that way either.
If you were to rank them, who'd get first place?
Ratings are your thing. Piss off. Pervert. I cracked back in good nature.
You're obviously hiding something.
Why would I be hiding something?
Fine, I'll start then. What do you think about...
He raised his finger and started to run it around the classroom, as if choosing a toy in a shop's window.
Winter sun, let's say...
Catherine was sitting behind the front desk, her back turned to us. Her long hair lay so smoothly that it resembled a frozen waterfall. Although coldness was also inherent to her character. At least that's how it seemed to me. I don't really know. I absolutely did know. If I were to answer Kuisoki's question seriously, which I never would, Catherine would be at the top of my list.
Why, you both foreigners.
Don't you think that's a bit chauvinistic?
What?
I said the last word in English because I read in some sci-fi novel and simply didn't know how to say it in Japanese. Apparently the vocabulary of the heroes in Kuisoki's manga was a bit poorer. I'm calling you a dickwit. For what? Because he wanted to talk about girls with you? Bro, like, Nikolai, he doesn't even deserve fucking not girls, not parents. He doesn't even deserve simple friends. He deserved to sit fucking in prison in the basement in complete darkness till the end of his life. That's it. And eat like fucking, I don't know, like an Old Boy. If you watched Old Boy all his life for 15 years, what he ate? Like Russian pelmeni, like that shit he ate like for, and tea, and he was drinking tea for 15 years. That's what he deserved, Nico-kun.
You do realize your reaction is a little suspicious.
Yes, for sure. Fine, what do you want to hear?
Rate her out of 10.
Let's say 7.
So low?
He flung his arms up disappointedly. What should I give a 10 to each and every one of them? Having a top score wouldn't mean shit then. We're not in the first grade where everyone gets A in art class.
I didn't get any A's.
You a different story, I'm talking about normal people.
Oh, is that so? Should I pass your score over to Miss Winters then?
He stood up from the chair, theatrically slowly. What are you doing? Come down and sit. Of course I didn't believe that Kuisoki really intended to do that. First and foremost, I didn't believe he had the courage.
Scared, are you?
I'm really not, just why?
Let's call it putting your personal life in order, otherwise we'll be alone forever.
Oh, you alone forever too, Kuisoki, another dumbass. Look who's talking. Also, do you think to ask for her opinion first?
Well, you're quite...
Excuse me. Sorry guys, this drink fucked me up.
Well, you are quite the guy, the cock of the walk.
He grinned and finally sat back down. When you're the one saying that, it just sounds wrong. We laughed together. That. Oh my god. The lessons ended and I was on my way home with Himitsu. I couldn't get Kuyosoki classmates' ranking out of my head. Or at least the rank of one classmate. Catherine Winters. I had paid attention to her before. Maybe it actually was because she wasn't Japanese, but more likely because she was beautiful, elegant, clever, and possessed a kind of mysterious charm. At the time, I didn't realize that she was simply more mature and feminine than the other girls. And in some sense, Kuyosoki was right. I was hiding even it just from myself that I liked Catherine. Which is quite easy to do if you don't think about a girl in the context of relationship. We talk about the beauty of actresses on TV screens, but few people actually fall in love with them. It's another matter when the actress is your classmate. It makes her way more human in a sense and also available not just a 2D picture, but a real girl you can at the very least talk to. That's my beautiful girl. Listen, do you like anyone in your class? I asked. Himitsu continued the flow of my thoughts aloud, but to her this question was completely unexpected.
Like? What do you mean?
Well, any of the guys.
What do you ask, Nico-kun?
Just talked with Kuyosoki over break. New class, new school, you know.
So, do you like someone?
At the time I didn't even think about Himitsu's feeling. Didn't think the conversation might be unpleasant for her. I was just talking about a normal school day with a friend. I don't really know. I grinned stupidly, scratched the back of my head, and turned away to hide my embarrassment.
Nico-kun,
Himitsu said angrily.
You wouldn't have brought this up for no reason.
Alright, my bad. There may be a certain American. American? Himitsu drawled.
Is she pretty?
What do you think?
Well, she's surely not going to like you.
Why is that? I asked with indignation.
Because you're lazy, rude, and insensitive, also sloppy and scruffy. Imagine if she saw what goes on in your room.
You know, this phrase that Himitsu said describes entire game. Lazy, rude, sloppy, scruffy, and drunk. If she would add drunk, that's it. That's a credo, like Assassin's Creed. So this Assassin's Creed. Fuck. Oh my god. Let's fucking play this game. I don't know when we're gonna finish this game, guys. Himitsu said all this in good nature, but her words still got to me. Why? Thank you for the compliments.
But that's the truth. You can be offended by the truth.
Truth. Yeah, right. I grumbled.
In all seriousness, though,
Himitsu said a little later, her voice now completely different.
What do you think about that girl?
I don't think anything yet.
So you're just gonna watch from a distance and do nothing?
I don't know.
That's not right, I think. If you like someone, you should tell them.
Would you?
Me? We're talking about you right now.
Maybe I will. But time passed, and it became obvious that I had to do something. I thought of Catherine more and more often, and the thoughts were starting to become frankly obtrusive something. But at first, even approaching her seemed like an impossible task to me, so inaccessible she appeared. Besides, Catherine barely talked to our other classmates either. At first, I thought it was just due to her personality, but sometimes things would get simply ridiculous. One time, working in a pair, she went an entire lesson without saying a word. Proudly, with her head held high and a sense of dignity to her, just like a real lady. But still silently, and she ended up with an F. Oh, okay. It would be one thing if that was all there was to it, but it was an English lesson. It was hard to adopt Catherine's knowledge of it, but a school is a social institute where both the result and the method matter. You could solve math problems with a calculator, but you wouldn't get an A for it. In the end, Katya turned up her nose and left the class. I felt like it was my chance, and complaining about terrible and stomachache to the teacher went after her. Given an F to a native is messed up. That's exactly why I don't take Russian. Oh, so they taking Russian class? No, she takes Russian class and she got an F. That's a fucked up. Oh, that's fucking Russian. Yeah, fucking Russian idiots. I caught up to her on the staircase and accurately tried to start a conversation. Oh no, she spoke. It's English. They take in English. and she got an F. But she's native, she's Native American, so they required to take English classes. Okay, finally I got it. Catherine just gave me a look of distrust and said, yeah. Her Japanese grades weren't exactly amazing either, to say the least. And thus finally I found Catherine Winter's weak spot. ... At lunch I approached her, smiled, and started to speak in Japanese as legibly as I could manage. Hi, sorry for saying this out of the blue, but I noticed you were having a hard time with Japanese. Mind if I help? My name is Nikolai, by the way. She raised her surprised eyes at me and answered coldly. Thank you, but I'm fine. I mean, I understand that it's really stressful to end up in foreign country and in new school too. I've just been learning Japanese for a while now. I'm fine, she interrupted me in the same tone. The language matters the most. The faster you learn, the faster you'll adapt. Catherine's look robbed me of all resolve to continue. Or not. From the first moment of our acquaintances, Miss Winters made it clear that she only saw me as yet another annoying classmate. She wasn't any good at making friends, and I wondered more and more often if her lack of Japanese skills really was the reason for it. However, besides disappointment, I was also overflowing with enthusiasm, a desire to get my way at all costs. One day, in the canteen, I unceremoniously sat across from Catherine without an invitation. Bon appetit! She didn't respond and even seemed to pretend I wasn't there. I just wanted to say I know we got off on the wrong foot, my bad, I shouldn't have imposed myself. It's not your fault. Catherine immediately switched to English. Just don't need help with Japanese, my knowledge is quite sufficient to survive the next 3 years here. Do you really hate it here that much? I responded in English as well, in anticipation of her reaction. Catherine didn't even bat an eye. How do I put it? It seemed like I had been reading too much of Kuyosoki manga. Why did I think she thought that I didn't know English? Okay guys, I'm gonna finish this drink right now. Once again, showing you the last time. If you didn't write in comment what I'm drinking, you better start doing it right now. Cheers. Okay guys, I'm alive. Okay, let's go. In any case, now she was friendlier than the first time. At least by her standards. At first I was really afraid of this new country. Everything was so big. Although I had it easier, of course, being a child and all. Continuing to demonstrate her utter lack of interest, Catherine finally joined the conversation. How old were you? 7, can you imagine? I said enthusiastically. I can, I was 7 once too. So what brought you here to Japan? I mean, not the canteen. My mom is a diplomat. Oh really? My parents are engineers. They were... The fuck are we reading? Is it a joke? Are you gonna starve? Is this the beginning of the game? Catherine kept poking her fork into something that probably used to be a beef roast. So you're from the Soviet Union then? Yes, ma'am, Nikolai and Akin at your service. Our countries don't have the best relationship, but do you think ours will be any better? She smiled barely. Well, politics aren't my strong suit, but I don't think the common people should suffer because of the decisions of a bunch of idiots at power. I immediately realized it was correct to say in power, but Catherine didn't give me a chance to correct myself. That is a very shallow understanding of politics, Nikolai. I did say it's not my strong suit. So you advocate for world peace and friendship among all peoples? That'd be better, wouldn't it? No. I guess, but yes. Okay. What about you then? And why are we even talking about politics? I laughed. You started it. No, I didn't. You said that our countries don't have the best relationship. Well, let's say so. It was nice talking to you. Catherine stood up, took her tray and left. Not that I was going to stop her, this round had clearly been lost. Several more days passed and I was waiting for Catherine at the school gates to go home together. Yeah, right, next I'd be offering to carry her backpack. I probably still hadn't realized at the time, but my attempts to get close to her were transforming into a sort of competition between the two of us. Oh, hey, going home? Me too? Wait, are we... What are we playing? What a coincidence. The only result of my actions was so far was the fact that she started to show more emotions, most of which more or less fit under the definition of the word sarcasm. Are you taking the subway? Yes, and for some reason I feel like so are you. For your information, I could go on foot, but since we got ourselves this coincidence, I don't mind at all, don't get me wrong. I would never, God forbid. For a while, we walked in silence. I pretended to harbor a grudge against Catherine, and she wasn't one to start a conversation. Or so it seemed to me. Your English is pretty good. I read a lot. What do you read? Science fiction mostly. Shickley Clark, Seamak Heinlein. Seamak, okay. I don't like science fiction. Well, girls rarely do. Do you know many? A couple. Himitsu for one. I see. From that moment, my presence no longer interested her. What books do you like? Books? I can't really say. All kinds. My passions ran out. Listen, maybe you should stop acting like this. How am I acting exactly? Catherine even stopped. You know full well that I like you. Then why all this? If you said no right away, we wouldn't need to put on this act. You like me? She smiled, bitch. That's when I grew embarrassed. Isn't that obvious? Not to a girl, didn't you say you have a lot of experience with them? I said nothing like that, and anyway, so you want to date me? Well, yeah, that's a given. Alright. Alright what? I asked dumbfounded. Let's date. Just like that? You did say that I could say no right away, I choose to say yes. Catherine gifted me with a genuine smile. Well, okay then. I almost asked what should we do now? By the way, we are here. And indeed the station showed up from behind the corner. You must have a lot to think about, and since you don't live far from here... See you tomorrow then, boyfriend. Catherine flashed and even cut her smile and left me standing in complete stupor. I'm completely stupor. I'm completely like it's... Can we please finish this game? Like seriously, please, please, please. Can we please finish this game, please? Today I know that this kind of behavior was at least somewhat normal for her, but at the time I was so shocked that I didn't even feel any particular joy. Maybe I'd feel something similar if a 100-kilogram piece of concrete fell on the ground a meter away from me. It's nice that it didn't fall on my head, but the following days were each one better than the other. I grew closer with Catherine, and even though I didn't quite understand why she was like that, she became less arrogant. Please, let's finish this game. One day we were sitting in a park, embracing each other. America doesn't have parks like this. Really? Seems like a pretty normal park to me. No, not normal at all. It's beautiful, quiet, peaceful. That's a bullshit. I have like 5 Japanese countries, 5 Japanese gardens in fucking LA. And here she's like, oh, we don't have it. Like, where the fuck you live then? Michigan? Somewhere dangerous. Well, at least there's something in Japan that you like. Catherine's laugh was barely audible. By the way, do you know that in Russia you'd be called Katya? And they sit under the tree of Sakura. Katya? Sounds weird. I think it's really cute. I'll be calling you that from now on. No way. You don't like it? You'd be called Nick in America. You already call me Nick. She didn't respond, only sank deeper into my shoulder. We'll leave this place, right? Later when we finish school. For America? Hell yeah, let's go to America, baby. I couldn't say the prospect made me too happy. Oh, but it's hard. No, in Japan, like to get the citizenship, I'm thinking. Oh, he can marry her, yeah. It's in that my psyche wouldn't withstand another big relocation. For America or somewhere else? Let's go to Russia, baby. What the yours are? I don't know. Yeah, please don't know. We need to get married first. Why is that? They won't give me a visa otherwise. Oh yeah, the weddings visa, I think. Yeah, they do have it. Right. Mine works at the embassy. We can come up with something. Oh shit. See, the corruption is fucking everywhere. Do you think she'd be happy that instead of going to college, her daughter... Who said instead? Katya asked with indignation. Well, we need to leave on something. You'll go to work then. You don't want to study anymore either way. Sir, yes, sir. She laughed again. Do you really want to do all of that with me? The question surprised me and I looked at her, but Catherine lowered her head. Of course, wouldn't be here otherwise. Here in this park or in Japan? On this earth, Kuyusoki invites me to the Yamato crew all the time. Yamato was the lead ship of her class of battleships built for the Imperial Japanese Navy shortly before World War II, sunk by the American forces during World War II. In the manga space battleship Yamato, it was brought up from the depths and remade into a spaceship. You have weird friends, and you also weird. My friends are totally normal. By the way, Himitsu's wanted to meet you for a while now. Your childhood friend? The half-Russian one? Yeah, I've told you about her. You must have way more in common with her. Even when I thought about it, I couldn't say what interested I shared with Himitsu. What are you hinting at? Nothing at all. She abruptly stood up from the bench and stretched her hand out to me. There's a special offer at the bar today. Buy 2 burgers for the price of 3 and get the third one for free? You're gonna get fat, you know that, right? You're pulling my leg! I grabbed her hand and pulled her to me. It was a dream. Please tell me it was a fucking dream. Everything entire game was a fucking dream. But Catherine meeting Himitsu was inevitable, and honestly, it was surprising that it didn't happen earlier. Yet another school day was coming to its end, and I was about to go home together with Catherine. To my place, this time. We'd be dating for several weeks at that point, and the initial strongest burst of passion was starting to wear off. Naturally, that didn't stop us from spending all our free time together. But that day, Himitsu met us at the gates of the school. Nico-kun, hello! She bowed way too low and I hurried to introduce Catherine to her. So, this is Himitsu, this is Catherine. Catherine-san! She was about to bow again, but decided against it under my stern glare. Come on, why the formalities? Katya-chan? Himitsu asked unsure. Katya only smiled back in embarrassment. Nico-kun, you never told me she was so tall. Himitsu whispered to me. Never crossed my mind, to be honest. Where do you study? In middle school. Here, it's on the same grounds. I studied there too. See, she used to get sick a lot and went to school a year later than me. Interesting. Catherine frowned slightly. Yeah, she always wanted to be in the same class as me, but it never worked out. I think Himitsu can speak for herself. Katya suddenly interrupted me. Himitsu, meanwhile, was just standing nearby, picking at the ground with the tip of her shoe. She looked even smaller now when compared to Catherine. Okay. Oh yeah, sorry. The awkwardness soared the meeting of the 2 most important girls in my life. How about we celebrate your acquaintances then? Nico-kun. Himitsu sat still and whispered, but now with reproach. Why, that's actually a good idea, don't you like it? Catherine asked her. Only if there won't be any alcohol. Only if there won't be any alcohol. Okay. Alcohol? Does he usually? Not at all. I waved my hands in denial. Received and understood. Thank you for the information. I didn't. How much more am I going to learn about you, boyfriend? She asked in English. Himitsu wasn't that good at the language, and this time Catherine was actually trying to hide the meaning of her words from others. Okay, it happens once or twice. She's just worried about me. Worried, huh? Katya immediately shifted her gaze to Himitsu. In any case, nice to meet you. Me too. Please lose them both. Please lose them both. You not deserve any of them. You not deserve shit, Nikolai. While the 3 of us were walking home, I was calling Himitsu. Why start with that again? Why say all that? Who asked you? But I didn't even say anything. Himitsu was about to burst into tears. I should add that she used to be even more awkward around people. You have to think before you speak. You made me out to be an alcoholic or something. Anyway, I relented. Just don't do that anymore. That entire time Catherine was watching us carefully without a word. I was speaking quietly and wasn't sure she heard what the conversation was about exactly. You're quite close. Naturally, we know each other for so many years. She's like a stupid little sister to me. Little sister. Huh, convenient. Want me to be the older then? You can call me Oni-san. Oni-san is a respectful way to address an older sister. Okay. A threesome with 2 sisters at once, and now that'd be something, wouldn't it? Lucky man. She finished off her sneed remark with a juicy slap on my ass. Good thing Himitsu didn't notice anything, at least. Truth be told, I like Catherine's peculiar sense of humor, but sometimes it crossed all possible lines, and not only by Japanese standards. I'll leave it, guys, to you. You can put in comments what you think about threesome with him. I think he doesn't deserve anything. He doesn't even deserve the fucking masturbation. He deserves like Theon from Game of Thrones. Remember when they cut it off, his dick off? So that's what Nico deserved. When we reached home, Himitsu made that stupid bow again and bid us farewell. I think I'll go. I don't want to be bothered. Come on, you're not bothering us at all, right, Nick? Yeah, of course. I thought I looked like an idiot. Even though for a moment I enjoyed Katya's ideas with the 2 sisters. Can we stop it? Can we please stop this game? Like, what the fuck? But if you have something to do...
It has been a pleasure to meet you.
She addressed Catherine. You've got an interesting friend. Not everyone could put up with someone like you for so many years. What? Indeed, Catherine was right, even if she was yet to know to what extent. I suddenly returned to reality and looked around. The park was still just a quiet and autumn appropriately chilly. The clock and my stomach together remind me that it was high time for lunch. I was walking through the city feeling detached from reality, like Alice, stuck in a wonderland of memories, which by comparison made all the danger looming over me seem much less important. As if the best had already passed and nothing good awaited me in the future. So what sense was there in worrying? ... Oh! Yeah. Hey there, Коля, come on in. Long time no see. Today the bartender seemed to be the embodiment of hospitality. I'm just here for lunch. But a moment. He was as eager to talk as always, but there were more visitors than usual, and he had to get back to work after bringing me my order. I was eating the ramen with gusto and noted once again that all in all it was no worse than in real Japanese ramen shop. Despite all the bartender's peculiarities, you couldn't deny that he knew his trade. He just had to remove that irritating bell over the door. Its sound didn't just annoy me. It seems to make my nerves themselves strain and tighten like strings. Meanwhile, someone I never expected to see here entered the bar. It was Saya-chan with her classmates. She looked around, choosing a table, noticed me, whispered something to her girlfriends, and headed towards me with clear determination. Oh boy. What are you doing here? That's what should be asking you, Anakin-san. She sat across from me quite unceremoniously and looked me right in the eye. What about me? I just dropped by for lunch. This place has wonderful ramen, by the way, my recommendation. Her presence was making me uncomfortable, and I didn't really know why. Perhaps because all of the memories. Catherine was right about Himitsu at the time, and apparently I started to feel ashamed again. And Saya was only making things worse. Wait, is it a Saya? She was blonde, no? But you weren't at school today. Keeping an eye on me? I'm flattered. Don't play dumb. You're also out early, judging by the time. Our class is already over for your interest. Oh! I raised my eyebrows. Naturally, I wasn't interested at all. Himitsu was worried about you and went home. Why is she worried about me? Here I am. Anakin-san. Just call me Nick, I told you. For some reason, coming from her in particular, these formalities were especially sickening. Anakin-san, you know what I'm talking about. No, I don't, and even if I did, I don't think it's any of your business. Worrying about a friend is very much my business. I couldn't object. In any case, you don't know all the details of our relationship. I don't see what details can matter when the relationship hurts one of the parties. I bit my lip and turned away, not even trying to hide my irritation. And now, there's this foreign girl too. What about her? I immediately looked back to Saya and grit my teeth, but she remained calm. Her return was quite timely. Now your life has no time left for Himitsu. Now that is definitely none of your business, so you're not denying it. I'm not going to get into a pointless argument with you, so don't need to argue with me, but think about Himitsu. I do, okay? I do. I almost edit all the time. What do you even know? I let out a sigh and threw a greedy glance at the alcohol stand. 2 o'clock is the perfect time, Saya smirked. Turns out she was also quite attentive. Sure, I knew in my head that there was a fair bit of truth to her words, but I just couldn't agree, if only for my own sake. Listening to you makes my ears bleed. A shot would make it at least bearable. You're hopeless. Maybe that's exactly why Himitsu likes me. Ever thought of that? So you know it and keep acting like that? Relax, I'm joking. There are things you can't joke about. Excuse me for not being prude or having much of conscience. Seriously, what do you want me to say? Why do you act like that? Those answers have no sense, like, at all. It's none of your business. Okay, I'll just get into the first one. What are you, my psychologist, a relative? And whatever the case, you keep nagging at Himitsu about how terrible I am. Saya's face visibly changed. She frowned and seemingly grew a couple years older. Damn, I remember her. We met her in the cafeteria in school, and we were arguing, and I actually said something horrible about her. Like she's fat, maybe? I remember that. Will it make you happy if we fight? Do you think it'll make Himitsu feel better? What makes you think you know what's better for her? How long have you known her? A year? 2 years? I know her for 10. 10 fucking years. That's a shitload of time. I spread my arms, showing how much time that was exactly. You're sick. Himitsu must have terrible luck to be involved with such a jerk. I agree. She stood up and headed for the girlfriend's table. Nice, piss off. And at least she has jerk while you surrounded by cows. I said after her. In reality, Saya hadn't said anything new, and there wasn't any reason to be upset with her. Mostly, I was angry with myself. The girl had hit a sore spot. With great precision, I must say. Meanwhile, Himitsu's classmates weren't in a hurry to leave. Having finished their milk cocktails and ice cream, they kept sitting there chatting about casual stuff. I was throwing rare, annoyed glances at them, but Saya was making a point to ignore them. To be honest, I simply found it hard to get up and walk past them to the exit. That would seemingly mean acknowledging my defeat and fleeing the battlefield. It was silly, but I kept sitting there to the bitter end, having chewed through even the chopsticks. Finally, their merry band got up from the table and prepared to leave. Saya shot me a farewell look, screwing her face in a sneered grimace. She had to be thinking she won. Geez, Kolya, what was that? The bartender appeared next to me at once. If witch burning were still in fashion these days, I'd definitely report her to the Inquisition. So that was just a friend of Himitsu's. Ah, I see. He said thoughtfully and sat down beside me. No, actually, I don't. Maybe that's for the better. I paid my bill and left the bar. I was having a hard time getting my emotions in order after the reprimanding Saya had given me. Sometimes you understand you're wrong, can't even accept your mistakes somewhere deep inside. But if someone points them out, you can't help but argue. Yet another crazy day was coming to an end. I got caught in the rain while on my way back home and barked into the kitchen defeated, and immediately faced Himitsu's disapproving stare.
There's probably no point asking where you've been, Nikokun.
Probably not. I agreed, trying not to sound rude, and walked past her. Gotta take a shower or I'll get sick. ... A hot dinner greeted me when I left the bathroom. After everything, I could only marvel at Himitsu's patience. Not everyone could put up with someone like you for that many years. Couldn't have said it better myself. Sorry for disappearing today. I had to think.
Very well.
What's well about?
I'm glad that you had time to think.
Yeah, well, okay. By the way, I met Saya-chan at the bar today.
Really?
Himitsu asked without much interest. I gotta say that she's weird. Yeah, weird. And she could do without prying into other people's business.
What does she pry into?
Well, you must know better than me. I don't know what she says about me, but
Nikko-kun, I'm capable of making my own decisions.
She said in a bored voice. Of course, I didn't mean anything like that, honey. It's just... Ah, whatever. I'm not trying to say I have to like all of your friends.
That's nice.
We kept silent for a while.
So, did all those thoughts bring you to any conclusions? Were they about Katya-chan?
No, of course not. It felt like Himitsu would pretty much explode at any mention of Catherine. I mostly wanted to check if I'm being watched.
So are you?
Himitsu perked up. I don't know, even if someone's watching, they're very good at it. Let's take this photo, I'm pretty sure that's a good photo. And that's a nice photo for the episode. Indeed, the Soviet intelligence agents as well as the other players hadn't shown themselves in any way in the past 2 days. That wasn't much a time frame to draw any broad conclusions, but it gave me at least some respite just to sink ever deeper into my personal drama. For whatever reason, I couldn't bring myself to call our love triangle a melodrama. Maybe tragedy was a better word for it. So what do you think? I think that so far we're managing not to attract too much attention, and there is a good chance it'll stay like that.
I really hope so.
So do I. I'm really sick of this uncertainty. Himitsu looked at me attentively but said nothing. By the way, the dinner was very good. Thank you, baby.
So, did you talk about me with Saya-chan?
Kind of, but you know her better than I, and you know everything she could tell me.
I guess. Nikko-kun, she really isn't a bad person, just a bit harsh sometimes, but it's not over the malice.
Good intentions pave the road to hell, you know. Although she'd be more the gatekeeper meeting new arrivals. Himitsu laughed but quickly caught herself in front.
Hey!
I'm serious. On the other hand, she could also get an offer of Caron's job. Would be much better than the original anyway. She'd entertain her passengers with her grumbling along the way. Can you imagine Saya-chan in a rope? I pulled out a towel over my head and made a face.
Nikko-kun, stop it.
She kept laughing. I jumped up from the bed, ran to her and threw the towel over her face. You're doomed to endless suffering hell for having overdone the tofu. Tofu, also known as bean curd in English, is a food prepared by coagulating soy milk and then pressing the resulting curds into solid white blocks of varying softness, rich in protein. She has enough protein from his dick, come on.
Nikko-kun!
Himitsu kept desperately resisting and pushed me away. I lost my balance and fell to the floor, taking her with me. You dare, mortal? You have the courage to oppose the will of Hades? For a while we struggled, and soon ended up atop Himitsu holding her hands firmly in mine, which would already be quite precarious position to be in, but it was also exacerbated by the fact that Himitsu's face flushed and her hair scattered on the floor. We felt quiet simultaneously, and she no longer laughed. In the descended silence, only the sound of our heartbeats could be heard. Tension even halted the air in my lungs.
Nikko-kun, I won't.
I didn't play the fool and specify what exactly she wanted. I simply kept silent. Himitsu lay there unmoving still. Whatever happened now, she wouldn't take the initiative. But as a bad luck would have it, I remembered Catherine again, and the day in the park 2 years ago. I couldn't do this to Himitsu. First I had to sort out myself and my feelings towards each other. I let go of her hands and fell to the floor next to her. Sorry, what are you apologizing for?
What are you apologizing for?
She immediately happily responded.
I'd like to remind you that we got school tomorrow.
Himitsu painfully pinched my side. Ouch! Still, I was grateful to her tactfulness. That was yet another thing to add the others I was grateful to her for. It's war then! I grabbed a pillow. Exhausted, we were lying on the bed resting. It was 9 o'clock.
It's so late already,
Himitsu suddenly realized. Wouldn't say it's particularly late.
I still need to do homework for tomorrow. They gave us a lot, and some made me so nervous today that I had other things on my mind.
I wonder who that might be.
All right, I'm leaving.
She stuck her tongue out at me and left, finishing a goodbye smile. When I was left alone, I took a deep breath and immediately felt overwhelmed. Without a prelude or preface. What am I doing? The sense of guilt was burning me from the inside. My broken heart joined the chorus, making my existence virtually unbearable. I seemed to be suffocating and burning at the same time, as if ending up in real hell. I was absolutely impossible to remain silent and solitude anymore. Okay, probably guys, let's stop here. Hustling through the puddles, I reached the nightclub. He wants to meet again the keyboard player. Again, I'm telling you, Nico, he doesn't want girls, he wants a guy. He wants that keyboard guy player. The one that was like, hey, Nico, you know? Okay, guys, I hope, I don't know when we're gonna finish this game, but maybe next time. So thank you very much for watching until the very end. Please join the channel, subscribe on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram. In the description will be a playlist with this game. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next episode.